Okay, so you want to guess. Guess what charts.
Okay.
I bet you can. I bet you know.
I mean, my immediate guess was Ivan because we do have his chart. Okay, well, and then I also was thinking about Kit because we had hers too.
No.
But okay, wait, neither of them? Okay, but now I
Neither.
need to know because I need to look up this other chart because all four of them who all do also post all of them post food
What if
stuff.
I say I promise we have
everybody
it.
has a placement in common.
I promise
everybody
we
has
know
a sign. Okay.
But it's such a good, it's one of those videos that like when you see it, I know I can hear. It's one of those videos that
I know,
like
right?
when I send.
But okay, well then, how about this? We'll start off this shouting out to Ivan, who is our chef of the group. Yeah, at the point this banging is just gonna happen, so whatever.
It's all right. I'll take care of it.
But yeah, Ivan, sweet Ivan. We loved when he posted his lumpia recipe with his mom during his season, but then he posted another video. Oh gosh, and now I can't remember what it was, but it was the bulgogi, and I didn't like the peppers in the bulgogi.
We did talk about this briefly.
It's fine,
Yeah.
whatever. But I'm gonna still give Ivan our good job, chef.
Honorable mention.
Yeah, because it's funny because he's a Taurus moon, and so Taurus. Shout out to Taurus placements. All of you have probably been pigeonholed into loving food and cooking and whatever your entire lives, and I mean. Look, sometimes stereotypes are correct, okay? And all four of the Hannah and Kit, Ivan, and Kelsey Weir all have Taurus placements. Ivan is Taurus moon, but what I love about Ivan though is he's a Pisces sun, and Jupiter is another unsung hero of food. Jupiter likes to indulge and likes to party. Like dinner parties are like Jupiter all the way. You go to someone's house and you just like literally stuff yourself. That is peak Jupiter energy. Okay. So I love that Pisces sun. He's so. I'm the Sagittarius and Pisces moon. I love. Love it. So Ivan, love you, precious angel. But anyway, I am so excited for this episode because we are going to lovingly roast Bachelor Nation influencer chef type people. They're not chefs. I use that word so graciously. Anyway. The reason we are both purists on this though, hopefully everyone knows now, but Jess and I are both new here. Cooks, chefs, cook people. We both went to culinary school. Professionals. Yes, we both work in food. We have worked in food for many years. Between the two of us, probably decade or so.
I'm approaching a decade.
You're approaching.
I'm a year,
okay, then we're
a year and a half
approaching.
Shy.
I'm at about 5 years in the working, but not including my culinary school time. But
yeah.
Wow. Look at us go. Love it. Food's amazing, but Bachelor people really fuck it up. I don't know how hard. I understand you're trying to make recipes and put your spin on it and get yourself out there on Instagram, and you're trying to get that content farm going, especially during the pandemic when you couldn't leave your house. What are you going to make content about? Cooking. Yeah. Well, no, because it's bad. It's bad. I feel bad for these millions of followers between Kelsey. Kelsey's.
Well, that's why I didn't pick Hannah Ann.
Yeah. Oh, see, I
couldn't. So as you said, we want to roast with love, and I found myself. And I know that this sounds like I'm trying to set myself up for a joke, but in all seriousness, all jokes in the wastebasket. As I was scrolling through all of Hannah Ann's recipe stories and her food reels and stuff like that, kind of skimming it, I realized that my frustration does not come from a place of love because she's not even a good actress. I couldn't make it through a lot of her videos because her trying to be cutesy on top of the fact that she can't cook actually made me mad. That I was I can't roast you lovingly because I'm not to just no. I know what you mean, but I actually couldn't be.
There's no way I'm
cute and funny and nice about it. The things that I wanted to say, it's not the way I want to be perceived by the public,
She physically, she genuinely is shocking, because again, we've talked about this before, but you know, she pins comments all the time about her being the next Martha Stewart. Oh, you need to be on the Food Network. Oh, yay. And these other people don't try that hard. Like Hannah Ann left a whole podcast, left clickbait, a Bachelor Nation sponsored podcast where she could have made some money and put her voice out there, whatever, all the time to do this. And it's not good. It's not even good. It's a problem. And she has like one point something million followers.
Yeah, something
And
crazy like that.
yeah, and I am stressed for these people eating her food. I'm so
Well, I'm just like I'm stressed for the people that okay, so as Shannon said, we went to culinary school and we've been working in food for a while. So we do have a very unique perspective. And things that would be acceptable to like your average everyday home cook who hasn't been taught specifics or hasn't been taught the science or techniques or whatever, like it makes sense that people would be like, "Oh, this is cute." But what irks me is like Hannah Ann having the audacity to feel like she's an authority. Like I saw one thing that
the
made me
chef coat.
okay, not even the chef coat, Shannon. This is the type of shit. This is why I
Wait till
can't.
she wears a
I
toque.
couldn't have. She has because that was
Has
one
she
of the
worn a
things I
toque?
was. Yes, Shannon. She posted a story in which it was on her story. If you look in like her foodie, whatever the fuck her food highlight
All right,
is,
I'm going.
it's gonna be her. It's gonna be her, and I watched the reel that accompanied this, so like I recognize the outfit, but it's gonna be her in like a weird denim style apron with a toque on, holding a sheet tray, and she, by the way, put chicken and salmon in the oven at 400 degrees at the same time, even though we know that they don't cook at this. Any see, that's the type of shit I'm talking about. Like you don't. Anyway,
Yeah,
anyway,
exactly.
that wasn't even the tangent I
Exactly.
was going on. But like she posted a picture of her in a toque with that sheet tray with her chicken and her salmon that you know was dry as fuck. Saying model by day, Martha Stewart by night. And then there was another one, and it annoys me that she calls herself Martha Stewart. That bugs me the fuck out because you know
It's
the reverence that I have for Martha. Like
we
that is
we
fucking blasphemous. It's like calling
Martha Stewart.
false
Martha
idols.
Stewart is literally the
That's my
actual
girl.
goat of the home cook of
We love
the
her very
I
much.
we love her to a very intense level
Y'all
at
don't even
which
know.
we
You don't
yeah,
even
you don't
know
even realize how often we
the
discuss Martha
conversations
Stewart.
we have.
Like I follow Martha Stewart's Instagram and not Martha Stewart like the sanctioned Instagram at Martha Stewart 48.
48. Yep.
That Martha's Instagram is absolutely it is
She's so
iconic.
fabulous.
So you know that there's you know how there's a podcast because it was in Framing Britney, but the
Don't let
podcast
me
about
forget
Britney's
that there was a
Instagram.
thing that I have to tell you about Hannah Ann, which is
Oh,
why don't say
ooh,
what you're
we will
saying,
get
but
there.
don't let me forget.
But no, you're good. No, but that Framing Britney podcast episode or not episode, or yeah, it is an episode, has this Britney Spears podcast up that all they do is just talk about Britney
Yes.
Spears' Instagram.
Yep.
I could do that about Martha Stewart's Instagram.
Same.
I would.
Yeah, for sure.
There was a time a couple years ago where she went to Antarctica. Or it was either Antarctica or the North Pole, whichever one, cold. And she was just on boats taking pictures of ice, of glaciers. And
She's a
her
bad
Instagram
bitch.
for like 4 days was just glaciers. And if you scroll back far enough, it's crazy because it's just like, you know how people like will make their Instagram like an aesthetic, so all their pictures have like a vague
Yes.
color or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just like a chunk of blue of like icy, like so cool. It's so cool. And I just
I
want to
love
be like,
her.
Martha Stewart's just fucking out here looking at glaciers. Like I
And
love
living
that
her
life.
best
I
fucking
really do.
life. Yeah, for real.
Truly, and hanging out with Snoop Dogg. I mean, fuck, you know she gets lit. You know she makes the best edibles. Okay.
Right. But the thing I was gonna say, like, I found the toque picture while I was trying to find this picture to send it to you because this is like the type of shit that I don't like. Is that Hannah Ann said something and I can't remember what it was, but like she had the balls on her story to write pro tip and then like had something. And all I was thinking was like, what is that it?
Pro tip:
Instead of using the cashews, that's exactly the one.
use raw cashews.
Yeah.
With what, Hannah Ann?
Well, I think she's
Is
making like a
this-
creamy vegan. She's making like a creamy vegan pasta sauce, and it's fine because that's you're basically adding cashew milk without the convenience of just
Yeah.
buying fucking cashew milk. So go
Yeah,
off,
because
I
and
guess.
cashews.
But
No, but it's funny because again, when you do some things that are oh god, except for I need you.
well, my
I
point
hate
is just
spaghetti
that like I
squash.
fucking hate when people say pro tip, but you're not a pro. That's not a
Yeah.
pro tip. That's actually a home cook tip. That's not a that's not a pro tip. Yeah. I don't mean to be a gatekeeper, but like I know. Yeah, that's the one. That's exactly it. And the chicken and the salmon she put in at 400 degrees, and they were on the same fucking sheet tray. Put
I
it
bet
in
she
at
doesn't even know what the
once.
lines on the toque mean.
Probably not. She doesn't. That's what I'm saying. She bought. If she was gonna get a custom chef coat, why did she not buy one that fits her? Why did she
It's so
not
large,
buy
and
a fitted chef coat?
I understand that, yeah, right? Like, girl, you are an influencer. Like, I understand legit chef coats are like baggier because they're made for men.
Yeah,
Um,
but like I
which
have
is so
mine
annoying.
that's like a
But
female
you can
cut.
buy, yeah.
Yeah,
There's so many feminine cuts of chef coats, and she gets a pink one, and it's what it says Hannah. It says Hannah
it
Ann
says
and
something on
Hannah
it.
Ann's kitchen on it, inscribed on it. So cute. And now she's gonna be in her chef coat for every one of her little
I saw one
videos.
video of her in the chef coat. It's turning into just like us shit talking Hannah Ann, but I saw her in the chef coat for one video that she had
Whatever.
it buttoned up.
Sorry.
But
Not
like
sorry.
it appears this is what I mean is like
But
you're
she doesn't
correct in the sense that she clearly doesn't know what the lines I'm sure she doesn't know what the lines in the toque mean. She doesn't know
also
how to
what the
properly wear the chef coat. Like the
right.
like
I was gonna say
there
the
are it's
sleeves.
built a
The
certain way and
sleeves.
it's designed a certain way for protection and efficiency. Like it is designed that way for a purpose, not because it looks cool or whatever. Like it's
Yep.
what the word am I
No,
looking for?
yeah.
Like
So
it's
the double it's I mean it's intentional. So
no, yeah.
the double flap, so you start with like what? The double flap on the chef coat is so that you can, if you spill something on the front, you can undo it and put the under flap on top just in case you're a chef and you have to go out and talk to restaurant people or you have to go talk to someone or whatever. Um then the sleeves, the biggest one I'm noticing for her is the sleeves because chef coats naturally have these kind of baggy sleeves, but you are literally like supposed to roll them up. Like they should be at least around your elbow because sleeves, like dirty sleeves, look unprofessional.
They're like
And if
cylindrical
you,
when you think about like how jeans are cut, like straight leg jeans, so you
yeah,
can cuff them. They are it's they don't conform, the sleeves don't conform or like fit the shape of your arm to be tight and form fitting
right.
so that you can cuff them with like no resistance. When you like try to cuff a jean jacket and it gets too tight around the elbow and you like can't cuff it.
Yep.
Chef coats you can in theory cuff like all the way up
You
to
could
your
literally,
fucking
yeah, you
shoulder.
could go all the way to the shoulder.
But yeah, and it's also like a
And
safety thing though. Like her I know that she's not
yeah,
worried about it in her home kitchen, but like if you are working on a line or you're working in a professional kitchen around it's a fast-paced environment, shit is sharp, shit is hot, people are flying, moving, like yelling things, and those sleeves can get caught on something and you can take a pan down and burn yourself. You can knock
oh
a knife, you know what
yeah,
I mean? Like I've
no,
walked
the sleeves,
into a walk-in and had my sleeve that's been cuffed, but has still been wide, get like caught on that little button that you need. And like it doesn't hurt or anything, but like as you're walking out of the walk-in, it gets caught
you
on
get
something, it
caught.
pulls you back if you're holding something that's fucking dangerous, if you're trying to carry something,
Hmm.
So like she doesn't give a shit because she doesn't
Also,
care, but like
also the amount of jewelry she wears, like it's
yeah.
like
Which
don't
is
this is like what to do, how to, in using a bad example, it's like you look at a bad example and you're like, okay, this is how you really do it. And honestly, I hope Hannah Ann, hey Hannah Ann, I hope you're listening to this, someone send this to her. I would say all of this to her face.
Hannah
I
Ann,
would
I'm
coach
happy.
Hannah
Yeah,
Ann.
we are happy to actually
I would coach
consult you
her.
if you want to put out like knowledgeable and technically correct content in your quirky little style. Continue to wear that fucking chef coat improperly, but I'm happy to show you like how to cook pasta right. I'm happy to tell you how to do it. See, and I
I
know it
am
sounds
really happy to
shitty.
show
My delivery sounds
I'm
like I'm
happy to
being like
show her. This one is
condescending.
hard for me. The watch looking at the quiche crust, like seeing this crust,
That is
which is just
shrunken as
shrunk,
yeah,
like
dude.
the way, and it's so thick. I mean, the way because she didn't roll it out far enough. Like it,
You know what's
when
crazy,
you make a
Shannon?
pie, guys, you have to put the crust on the edges further out because it will
It will
shrink when
shrink.
it bakes. Anyway, what's crazy?
I think about how much food related content I've made, whether it be like for YouTube or for my Instagram, for when I was doing Honey and Lilac, like when all, you know what I mean? I've thought about
Yeah,
all this stuff
same.
that I have never posted or have
Food
never
styling.
shared because one fucking thing, because a crust was shrunken. Or because like the shading of it, like knowing what Shannon and I know about food styling and food photography, like if one detail in it is not completely correct, I will not even bother taking the photo. It's like the thing in restaurants, every chef should tell you like you get one bite. You get one fucking bite. If a plate gets to a table and that person tries your food, takes one bite of your food and does not fucking like it, then they don't owe you a second bite, and they're going to walk out of your place thinking that your food is shit. So you better make sure that every bite is fucking proper. That way they want that second
Yeah.
bite, and that way, like, your name is on it. Like, you wanna be proud of it. Like, you wanna sit there and say, like, "This is mine." You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't wanna put my name on a
No,
subpar piece
totally.
of work.
And it's funny because I like that the two of us have such like a different perspective on how we view this, because you are viewing it from very like restaurant in the restaurant, chef pushing out food for customers, whereas I'm thinking about it in like in the food styling way. I mean, you also with food styling, right?
No, 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 I'm not
But
I'm thinking about
like
it more of
food
like a
styling, and also
go ahead.
yeah, and well, and also I mean, I'm a private chef, so I don't like, I definitely can make like beautiful food, but like all the time, most of the time I'm packing for to go container or like for Tupperware. And so I'll like make my Tupperware look nice, but
But
I'm not like
think about
plating
if you
meals,
made
but
something
it's like,
and you didn't, like, your fucking baking soda gets clumpy and your client bites into, like,
oh,
a muffin that all of a sudden has a giant chunk of baking soda in it, and they're like, "This is all," they don't even try, you know what I mean? And it's like, well, that's
oh, no, no,
fucked.
no, no. I have lost clients on things such as like someone being like, "Oh, that meatball is dry." And I'm sitting here like, in my brain, I'm like, you're eating it in like it's in sauce. Like I'm just like and also I'm like, I've made that a million times. Like people are fickle. Like people who eat are fickle. And the one thing about people like Hannah Ann and home cooks who try to do this is like, I imagine everybody in Hannah Ann's life, Kit's life, like most of the people who they're feeding aren't gonna like sit there and be like,
I doubt they've gotten honest
No,
criticism.
I don't like
Yeah,
it. Like, no, they're just gonna be like, oh my god, this is so good. Like, because they got someone cooked for them. And like I have eaten food that I will tell someone like, oh my god, this is so good. Leave, be like, yeah, I mean, it really could have been no, 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 no. But like at the moment you're eating it and you're like, someone made it for you, and you're like, this is good. Like it tastes good.
you're better than
But
I
then I
am.
sit there and I think about it and you're like, no, yeah. Well, anyway,
I'm
so
an
Hannah
asshole.
Ann and
Don't No one
her
should cook for me. I will tell you if your food needs salt because I life is too short for me to eat
which
something
Hannah Ann's
shitty.
food needs salt.
That's how I like that's
Okay.
yeah, that's the difference in how, because you're right where you're looking at it from like a food styling perspective. Like I'm being that like pretentious like food is art asshole where it's like fucking do it right or don't do it at all because it's like an art form. It's like a craft. It's like, you know. So I'm a pretentious douche
Yep.
about it.
No, as you should be. Also, I love it because you're the Leo sun and Hannah Ann is a Leo
I
moon.
just
So you're just like,
like I said, like life is far too short to eat subpar food. I'm not gonna force myself to eat something that I don't want to fucking eat. Even, you know what I mean? And I'm not trying to be like combative or anything, but it's just like the nature of it. If Hannah Ann served me that quiche and that crust was dry as fuck like that, I'd be like, "Do you have anything that I can
I
put
think
on
the egg,
this?"
the fact that she puts, she would put almond milk in that quiche.
I get it. She's trying to go
And
for her fucking
I get it,
demographic. She wants to be like her.
dairy
Yeah,
free. But if we're gonna go dairy free in a egg dish,
I
I'm
would
not
find like a vegan
throwing
creme fraiche or
almond
something.
milk. Yeah, exactly. Like give me like you can't
Something with some
like
substance, not like
milk
loose.
substitutes matter when you are trying to change it. And if you're trying to veganize a recipe and you see milk, like the first option doesn't always have to be almond milk,
Yeah.
coconut milk, or whatever. Like it actually can be something like you said, vegan creme fraiche, which will be thinner than natural creme fraiche, and it will be a totally different flavor profile, and it will actually be closer to maybe that whole milk
Yeah,
that
and an
you're
actual pro
trying not
tip
to
from
use.
professionals, a real pro
Ha!
tip is if you do maybe don't want to go with something as like thick or necessarily as flavorful as sour cream, creme fraiche is a great fucking option. It's not quite as tangy
Yes.
and it's like a little bit on the thinner side when you think of like the build of the product. So creme fraiche is always a thing
Yeah.
to keep in your kitchen. And my final video that Shannon doesn't know about includes creme fraiche.
Oh my god. Okay,
There's creme
wait.
fraiche in
Now I
it.
need to know. Well, okay, since we're shit talking Hannah Ann, I'm just gonna talk about the two videos that I have pulled from her Instagram that I find to be the most threatening to my brain. So Hannah Ann's are just music. They're
Yeah,
not
I'm gonna mute
any
it.
words. You don't have to look at it.
I'm on the 2 cups of kale. Yeah. Oh, okay.
I know. It's a lot. There's a lot happening here.
Okay, I want to watch this again. Okay, hold on.
Yep.
So,
Yeah,
rice,
so yeah, we start
cauliflower.
with 2 cauliflower rice, which
Okay,
great.
this
Then
is
we
the
get
shit I'm
2
talking about though,
cups.
Shannon. She needs to say, oh, we did talk about this because I remember those fucking kale stems. She needs to tell people to put oil in the pan. She doesn't understand how to do this because she needs to literally go, okay, yeah, she says it in the directions. Why not in the fucking video? In a large pan, add
But
olive
in the
oil on.
video, well, but
Like, I'm not
that's what
reading
she's
this
not getting about
caption.
cooking content.
Exactly.
Right. That's what she doesn't get about cooking content. People are going to watch the video and they're going to try to replicate that. They're not gonna always read the comment. Yeah, there's always a couple of the
Those
people who are very,
fucking
very
stems,
studious and will go
bro.
read comments and read the captions. But it stresses me out. So first of all, no oil. And not even that. Her own pan, her own oil. Like she has everything sticks. Cauliflower also,
She's trying
like,
to hide
okay,
it in the
hot.
video. When she's mixing her shit, she's not actually mixing it because she's trying to hide the fact that
She
it's
doesn't
stuck to the
mix.
fucking pan.
She mixes nothing.
Oh my
She
gosh.
absolutely, like, also, but you know what's unfortunate? Does she say, because I don't even think she adds that much oil. Because again,
It's in the
these
it says
healthy bitches,
uh
this is my problem. This is my problem with healthy
it
cooking.
just says
Olive
add
oil is
olive
good for
oil.
you.
It doesn't have like an amount, which is fine for me because I'm an intuitive cook just by nature. That's like my
Right, of
cooking
course.
style.
But most
Everyone
people
knows that.
aren't.
Right. Especially people who don't know how to cook. People, if you are going to Hannah Ann for recipes, I'm assuming that you do not know how to cook. That you literally are like that
Yes.
you don't know anything, or else why would Hannah Ann be your
Yep.
source? So yeah,
Also,
you're correct. Go ahead.
I'm pretty sure she removed the kale stems that fell
She
out.
did because they're gone, and I've been looking for
Yeah.
them.
And
Where does
also,
she? I don't understand where they come
feta
from.
feta at the end is no. Also,
Does she
okay,
dump it from
so
a bag?
let me
Am I
talk
missing?
about
Yeah,
this real quick.
please.
As someone from my job who makes what she's calling this a protein bowl. So that's the other thing, naming. She is naming this a protein bowl where only protein in this is a shrimp on top that she added later. Where in my mind, when I think protein bowl, I'm thinking like lentils, quinoa, like farro, like something that has actual, like the grain itself has actual protein. She also is obsessed with cauliflower rice. I was looking through all her videos. She uses it in the most random shit. This one at least makes sense. It's a cauliflower rice bowl. But like once she put cauliflower rice in her mini quiche breakfast, not mini the breakfast things, like when you put the hash browns as the little nest. God, yeah, I just love your face.
I can't stop watching it.
It's also it's so ugly. Like unfortunately, it is so ugly in the
So this
bowl.
bitch is
It's
so shady.
disgust.
But
No, everything she does came from a jar. Not even I.
but
You know
also
what I do
okay.
when I make cauliflower rice? You know what I do when I make cauliflower rice for my job
Yeah.
for my clients? As I buy a head of cauliflower and I rice it.
So
And I'm not saying that we shouldn't buy bagged
I'm
cauliflower
saying
rice,
you shouldn't.
but a water. I mean I
Shannon's
am.
not saying that. I am going to flat out tell you, do
I
not
just
buy
think
that
that
shit.
first of
It's
all,
wasteful.
most bagged, and it's also like the water content in it is so much different and like nastier because it's sitting in a bag.
Also,
And honestly, I think maybe
every
the
day.
only time I would accept cauliflower rice is if you get it frozen, like a frozen bag of cauliflower rice and you de-thaw. That's maybe a little different. But like
So
the bag that she had, also it's a Trader Joe's ad without being a Trader Joe's ad because of that.
here's another pro tip. This is gonna be my favorite thing to sprinkle in. Another pro tip. And this is also just science and with food in general, but very specifically with the cauliflower rice. Anything that you break down, whether it's meat or vegetables or like any kind of produce, anything like that, as you cut into it,
Spiralizing.
you are exposing more surface area to the oxygen, which means like you are allowing more surface area access to going bad. So you don't cut things up. Like however the food will go bad faster. because of
Yep.
its
And because
it's
yeah, it
oxidizing.
dries
It's
out.
literally like
Yep.
exposed to the air. So the problem with cauliflower rice is, as Shannon's saying, like the moisture, it will release moisture over time, and then as it sits there in its moisture, more surface area is exposed to the air and exposed to this disgusting moisture, and then it goes bad quicker if you just buy a head of cauliflower. It'll be fresher. It
And
won't be
if you want to
mushy. It won't
rice,
smell like shit when you open the fucking bag. It's
yes.
don't buy that shit. Don't buy it. It's
And
wasteful.
if you want to rice your cauliflower, all you have to do, the way I do it is I throw that shit in a blender. You can literally put cauliflower in a blender, and if you add, like, if you cover it high up with water and blend it, you can just pour the water out, and it will just be bits of cauliflower. But or you can put it on a cheese grater.
Also,
It boom, cauliflower breaks up so easy.
ricers are very inexpensive, and you can also use them for
Oh
fucking
yeah.
potatoes, or if you need to like do a makeshift
Well,
sifter. Like it's a struggle, it's effort, it's labor, but in the grand scheme of things, it's really not that fucking bad, and it'll be a better product than this fucking rice
yep,
cauliflower. It's just not.
yep.
But so you
So
can see by the
and
end, it's
also,
fucking
like I said,
mush. It's mush. She doesn't
it's
know how to work with it.
gray.
It's like you don't need to cook it
Well,
that
because she's
long. You don't need you.
us she didn't even show us her cooking shrimp. She just poured shrimp onto it. Cooked shrimp.
So
Like it again,
well,
if you're going to produce food content, show us how you've done everything that's in your
so wait,
video.
did she
Unless it
put
only says
cooked shrimp in it? Is that what I'm to understand?
it is cooked shrimp on top. So
No,
it's
I
like the
know,
shrimp that she put on top. Oh yeah.
but I'm wondering.
Yeah, this pan, it stresses me out. Like it's just
So
there's not enough oil.
the
Again, back to
proper
healthy girls. Olive oil is okay. You can put olive oil in your food and it's very good for you.
okay,
Like,
add your cooked protein.
please.
So she cooked the shrimp. She did cook the shrimp
Yes.
first,
Yes.
but she still cooked
Anyway,
them
God.
in the things in the wrong way. So
Also,
the structural
that kind
integrity
of
of these fucking ingredients. See, I'm telling you, Shannon, this is why I couldn't
stressful.
go over Hannah Ann videos because she would not do. She does not do a single
Yep.
thing the way that I would do this. So as I like the
And I
structural
just again,
integrity.
girl, food styling.
But like the structural integrity of each of these foods is very, very different, which means the cooking time is different. There's a very specific reason why in certain recipes they will straight up fucking tell you you need to add the carrots first, and then after the carrots have been cooking, you add the
Mhm.
garlic at this, because if you add the garlic first, the garlic will burn. And like there's a reason why you add things in a specific order. This cauliflower rice, especially pre-riced cauliflower like this from Trader Joe's, will turn to fucking mush the way that she cooked it. And what's pissing me off about it, and this is why I cannot fucking stand Hannah Ann's food content videos, Shannon, you know that that shit did not taste good. You know that that shit did not feel good in her mouth. And yet she still posted this like, oh my God, look how good it is. Make it just like this. You'll enjoy it. And you know that that shit
Mm.
had no fucking texture.
Well, that is another thing back
The
to
balls on this woman.
if
My
you are
God.
girl, if you are creating food content,
I can't
this
stand
woman probably has no idea how many times people test recipes and
you
film
can
videos of recipes before posting it. Like, recipes are tested for a long time because it actually does fucking take work to make something that isn't gonna look like shit or taste like shit. And this one, no matter what it tastes like, looks like shit. And so that brings me to my second
I
one,
will
which I think
fuck
would
my God.
taste messy.
I
It would
just
be
saw the
fine
title.
because
I
it's
know which one
hard.
this is.
It's hard to fuck up a tomato sauce, and yet there's things I'm
I'm
there's
watching it.
things.
Okay.
So we're working with a here, I'll start it. Yeah, I'll put it right here.
I know I got it. Got it.
Mm. There
Okay.
it pains
So
me.
before we get started on anything about
This
this
one is
video, the one thing that I'm just going to say as a preface to any listeners, a thing to know about me, I fucking hate herb garnishes that are like full leaves. If I cannot fucking eat it, if I cannot eat it, if I can't pick it up and put it in my mouth, do not put it on my fucking plate. That's a standard
I
rule.
understand whole basil leaves. I truly understand whole basil leaves when they are like the baby ones and they're the cute little teeny tiny end of the sprout and it's like the couple of them spread around. That's fine because that is bite size. That is
It
because
might as
a
well be a
whole
tear.
basil leaf.
Yeah.
The garnish is stressful because it's only in the photo, and you know she's not
Well,
like
that's what pisses me off about it. She puts whole basil leaves in
unnecessary
there, and that's
garnishes.
okay. They're like a decent size. They
The
get
whole, but
wilted a little
also
bit. They get mixed in with the sauce. It's okay. I'm down for that. It's that fucking weird like fountain of basil she puts on top because you know that as soon as she was done filming this, she took that shit off and then threw it away and then ate her pasta, which means that it had no business being on the
exactly.
pasta. If people think that I'm critical, listeners, I'll cut her name out, but listeners, my old boss was a very, very serious chef, very well respected, knows her shit, like basically the female Gordon Ramsay of the cooking world, especially
Mm.
in America, especially in New York. And if y'all think, or if you're thinking that like I'm hypercritical and really mean, I am nothing compared to my old boss, and all I want is for my old boss to watch these videos.
I just really hope that Martha Stewart never acknowledges
You know
her.
that
Like that's my
we've talked about the
dream.
fact that you know that if anyone showed Martha Stewart these videos, Martha Stewart would be like, she thinks she's me. Like that's what's so embarrassing
Who's
to me is
this?
that Hannah Ann is like pinning the comments that have Martha tagged in them, and Hannah Ann wants Martha to see her shit really, really, really badly.
Nothing. This is nothing. None of this is impressive. And this pasta stresses me out because first of all, when she shows the pasta water cooking, it is not
It's
even
not
moving. It's
boiling.
like not
Yeah.
even simmering. It is sitting. Like, and I don't get that. She has her shrimp covered, which definitely look like they're
But they're
steaming,
already
which
cooked. Yeah.
overcooked shrimp, hardcore. So that's just those two things. But the sauce, she put what looked like maybe a quarter cup of vodka in there. And if you're gonna give me a fucking penne alla a fucking vodka sauce, I need you to give me. I know it sounds crazy to people, but you gotta fucking pour in a cup of vodka because you know how much of that vodka cooks off. Most of it, like it's not gonna taste like anything. And she cooks off literally all of the vodka, and obviously there's a little bit of it with the onions, but like
Well, so
anyway,
more
and then
food savvy.
there's like no cream, the cream and the pasta doesn't even cover the noodles because the noodles are likely overcooked. It is
Well, you see that like
stressful.
the
And then
amount
her
of
little
sauce that
transition
she's
at the
making,
end,
not a lot of sauce.
definitely not. Like she used, I think that's maybe a one single can of crushed tomato. No, it might be a 28-ounce can of crushed tomato, not like the big size.
But
But
like
either
no
way, also still
tomato
barely any
paste,
cream,
no.
even barely any basil if you're really gonna do it like that. God, anyway, yeah, I think that she needs to stop trying to cook pasta. And I think she just needs to be a model. Just be a model.
Or
You don't have
take
to
some
cook.
actual
It's
cooking
okay.
classes. I'm down for you to produce
Take a
cooking
cooking
content, but
class.
please God, like have some.
Oh, and dried oregano.
Yeah, no,
I
I
don't
understand
like
it's not a
dried
big deal, and I
herbs.
understand that it's just food, but like, please, for the love of fucking God, like, if you want to step into the realm of like I said, I consider this a craft. Like, I think that cooking's an art form. Like, it really is. It's a creative art. Um, and if you're gonna try and like step into a space and like participate in this, like, do it fucking respectfully.
It's stressful. And so again, PSA to everybody, never watch her content for food. Um, if you really have to, just follow some actual chefs. Like we don't have to. I think that the
There's some
influencer
really
world is
attractive
weird
regular
because like
chefs
Hannah,
too, so it's you can get
yes.
this two-in-one thing
Yes. There are
elsewhere.
very pretty chefs. I think of what's that guy's name? God, he was on Food Network, but he's not like Food Networky. He's fuck. His name is
Talking
Josh
about
something.
fucking
John.
fork knife,
He's precious little sweetie.
whatever his name is. There was a guy
Um
that was on Chopped, and he had
no.
like such insane charisma on Chopped that they actually invited him to compete again, and then offered him his own hosting gig because he was just like so Rachel Ray-y, where like you can't.
You gotta love those
But
people.
another fun like cook
Hi.
science thing for the listeners, as Shannon was saying, you have to add a cup of vodka. Like there's a reason why when you put rubbing alcohol on your body, it feels colder than when you put water, and it's because alcohol naturally evaporates faster. And like this is the type of shit that's important to know when you're cooking with things. Like you need to know what you're working with before you work with it. And if you don't understand what you're doing, you're never going to have a good product. So like I'm down for people like cooking at home. I'm down for people trying shit, but like fucking learn.
Producing that content to your one and a something
If you
million
want to play,
followers
then
is
play. But please
stressful.
stop acting like you are an authority if you haven't even
A
bothered to
pro.
try and
Pro tip.
learn. You haven't even bothered to
Pro
try and
tip.
learn because some of these mistakes are so fucking amateur. We've talked about the fact that she has a video where she says like wait until your pasta is completely tender before you drain it. Like you want to like
Completely
throw it at the
cooked.
wall so it can stick. And it's like if you're throwing it at the wall to make
Ah!
it stick and you plan on also cooking it in your sauce, if it sticks to the wall, it's going to be overcooked if it's not overcooked already. That's not how you
It's
make pasta.
done.
And if you want to like be cute and quirky like that, then that's fine. That's fine. But let's not pretend that you're fucking Martha Stewart.
Yeah, and she would only cook. Yeah, for real. Well, Hannah Ann, your food content will somehow. I love to hate it, so I will never be able to look away. But I will never be pleased with it. And it just she inspires me to make my own food content, even though I'm so lazy. Okay, I've returned.
I sent it. I can't wait
You
for you
what?
to see. I
Oh, you
said
sent
just
me.
the first
Okay,
one,
I'm
not the
ready.
second one. I'm trying to maintain suspense for as long as I possibly can. So the one that I sent is very simple, but very aggravating. It's like confusing. Simple and still confusing.
I like that she used the word Pyard.
See, I didn't like that. I mean, like I did like
I
that, but I
don't
didn't
think
like that.
it's not accurate,
Yeah,
but I like that she tried
I'm shocked
to
that she
use
knew what
that
it
word.
was. Like
Yeah,
I'm wondering where she knows that word from, or like what made her feel inclined
yeah,
to use it.
yeah. But it was definitely a restaurant. She was at a restaurant that said Pyard. I remember, God, the
She had
chicken
like
Pyard I
yeah,
ever
she had
had
like a chicken one and didn't
was
know
in
what the pie
California.
yard meant.
Where does she live, actually?
Probably California.
I was gonna say because I think she lives in Northern California, maybe. But either way, I had my favorite was a mustard sauce chicken Pyard. It was at a restaurant in San Francisco called Cha Cha Cha.
But like it doesn't look like
Anyway,
she flattened those chicken breasts at all.
no, definitely
That's what
wasn't.
I mean. Like I
That
don't think that
it's
she like
not.
knows what it is. Like I think that she
Well,
like
one
heard
of
it.
them
It looks like
one
it
of
could have
them
been
looks like it. What like
like the top
the first
right,
chicken
right?
she lies down. The first chicken she lies down looks like a regular chicken breast, and then the other two are just like look like it was maybe she cut them in part. Like I think it was like she was like, oh, this one chicken breast is smaller than the others. Like that other one that she would have put would have been a
I wonder
huge
if it's like the
breast. So
tenderloin. I wonder if it's like a tenderloin that they
yeah, yeah,
just don't
no,
have
yes, that's what
attached.
you're seeing. Yes, that's what you're seeing. Totally, as someone who has many times tried to be lazy and not pound my chicken and just cut slices into it. That is
Just
absolutely
like
chicken tender,
kind
the
of
tender.
butterfly it a bit.
Yeah, it's trying to like hang out
Yeah, yeah,
aside.
yeah.
This really reminds me of something Hannah had.
Because it's like so simple.
This I like this one better. I like this one better than Hannah Ann's because Hannah Ann's was basically just seared chicken with guacamole on top,
Okay,
like
so
literally,
think
and she called it
about
avocado salsa. This actually, I feel like this would actually taste good,
sure,
but
but
weird,
pay attention
weird for
pay
sure.
attention to when she's making the salsa and she's going through the ingredients, right? Look
3 cups orange. Yeah,
yeah,
right. 1 avocado. Quart. Yeah,
2 whole
yeah.
limes. That's a lot of lime
Two,
juice for 3
and that's
oranges.
and so and that's what's funny. I remember one of my first culinary school chefs always said this too. He's like, when you talk about recipes, you can't say 1 clove of garlic because every clove of garlic is a different size. So you have to do it with 3 oranges. Sometimes you open up oranges and it's like half an inch of pith, and you don't know how much fruit you're getting that's like the worst. I hate that so much. But, or 1 avocado. Well, shit. What if my 1 avocado is like kind of rotten on one corner? Like, is that still enough avocado? Like, when you're giving quantities of recipes, when you're putting recipes, you need to like measurable. And she does it all. She does it quarter cup cilantro. That's a measurable quantity of cilantro. Good. And then she does the 2 juiced limes again. She just goes back to yeah. What she should do, everybody.
Dude,
So
the
juiced
heartburn,
limes.
her fucking stomach. Can you imagine like the acidity happening even with that
So instead,
avocado?
especially and
That's what I
three
mean. Like
oranges.
2 whole limes and
So
3 oranges. Jesus Christ.
so I understand. So everybody, pro tip. So
We're gonna call that.
I really
We're gonna
want
call that the
the
episode.
episode needs to be pro
Pro
tip.
tips. Actual pro tips.
Pro tip. Literally no. Pro tip. Bachelor Nation influence better, please. Like, you know what I mean? This is how you do it. But so I think 1 lime would have been fine. I love acidic food. I get it.
Me
However,
too.
zest the lime. Zest it. Fucking any citrus. Honestly, she probably could have done 2
And
oranges.
orange zest, right?
Orange zest?
Yep.
Like, come on.
The
Like
second you said zest, I was like, oh,
you're wasting product when you don't zest your citrus.
hard
I'm sorry.
facts.
Even if you don't think you're going to use it, fucking zest your orange before you juice it and then mix that with like a quarter cup of sugar or half a cup of sugar and you have orange zest sugar and that shit is amazing. Like stuff
Shannon.
like that. But yes, that is another thing I think about all the time. And pro tip, when you're at the grocery store and you are picking fruit and you think you want to juice it, if you pick up the citrus that has, so you know how there's like on all the citrus there's like these little like circular indents, right? The little it like
The like
so
pore
when those
looking
are
things.
right, when those are flatter, when you can't really feel that pore as much and it's more of a smooth surface, those are ready to juice much better because the pith between the juice or between the fruit on the inside and the skin is going to be way smaller because it's the fruit has expanded so much on the inside. So the softer ones that feel a little more like squishy but not like really squishy, obviously, and like not rotten, but those are the best ones to use. Also, roll your lemon and roll your fruit before you
Add
juice it.
some
That's a classic one.
light pressure, very, very light pressure, and just like hit it with
Like over,
like a one of these
you literally
between your
just do
hands
like
on
that
a
real quick.
counter, whatever.
You'll feel it.
It'll
You'll feel it.
loosen all the juices up.
Squeeze between your hand, clean hands, obviously, but squeeze the juice between your hands so it catches the seeds,
Right.
so that you don't have to drop the seeds in. Because fishing seeds out of bowls of stuff is so hard when it's still only liquid. It just, gosh. Anyway, wow. Can you believe how long we could talk about just citrus?
Well, I sent
Jesus Christ.
I sent my video.
Oh, let me see. All right, let me
It's
go.
not necessarily a cooking video,
Ah!
but let's talk about it. Let's fucking talk about it. Let's talk about it.
I like threw my phone away from me because I know.
And that's the thing. That's why I wouldn't tell you, because that's the reaction that I wanted. I wanted it on camera.
No,
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. How do you feel about it? Let's talk about it.
So,
For the listeners,
all right.
I'm gonna put it right here or right here. I don't know what side.
I don't even have to.
It'll
I don't
show
even
up.
have to like. Okay, I don't even have to watch it because I know what it is.
No, but you got to see the things that are on the board.
First
it
of all,
matters.
oh, I know. Yeah, actually, good point. Wait, what's annoying is you can't pause. Okay, you have to hold down to pause the reel.
Oh, is there
okay.
not like a thing? I thought there was like.
So.
Oh, I guess.
No, there's not a pause button on Reels.
Like
Whereas TikTok, you could just tap the screen, but tapping the screen on Reels mutes it or puts the music back on.
So
but holding down is.
What the fuck does he do?
Okay. Like, all right, Bennett. So now that I know you're fourth, yes, all of these people that we have mentioned have something in common, and that is Cancer placements. All of the other people other than Bennett have Taurus placements. Also, Taurus is the one associated with food the most. But Cancer is another underrated sign that loves to feed people because Cancer is ruled by the moon, and the moon literally rules all the foods that people love the most, like pasta, milk, cheese, dairy, anything comfort food. So moon people fucking love to feed people, and they love to cook for people. Like, they really want to like spread that love. So Bennett here though so I will say this. I approve of Bennett's influencing skills in this one because obviously it's different. It's not a true cooking video, so there's less to do. Kelsey's was better, but like Hannah Ann's is so annoying. So Bennett though, he fake us, he does the fake out. And he's like, no, not this trash.
I just hate the way that he looks at it. Like,
I'm too rich for this trash.
I like that he gives it a double take.
And so now we have this very chaotic board that I guess I would call it charcuterie. There is meat on it.
It looks like he's got capicola on it. very dried out
Yes.
capicola.
Yes. Very
And
dry.
that's about it for the
Um
charcuterie realm,
and
which pisses me off
and then
because
there's
the caption, Shannon, says proper
Sam.
charcuterie board. The caption literally calls
Yeah,
out Matt James and says like something about teaching Matt James how to make a proper charcuterie board. And Bennett, if you're fucking listening to this, DM me. I'll tell
this is not
you how to make a
proper.
proper charcuterie board because let me tell you, Chief,
Salmon
that's not it. That's not fucking it.
Shaved salmon is not on a proper charcuterie board. You don't put fish. That's not bad.
It just
Also,
what does he eat that
I
lox
will say
with?
though,
Other than the caviar and creme fraiche,
yeah.
what is that lox
The,
supposed to be eaten
the,
with?
and the cracker, I guess. Like that's literally it. Just put it on that cracker on the water cracker too. Like not even
Fucking
like a
water cracker.
but
I know.
what I will say though, shout out to that creme fraiche you just said.
It does have creme fraiche, which I will take.
But it's also a creme fraiche is a classic
Can I tell
wow,
you
what is the word?
a pairing? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Classic compliment to caviar. But
So
the one thing I think I hate the most, which is annoying because I love to eat these, I hate these
in the fucking mason jar,
macarons in the mason jar just sitting there because it's like that spot could have been
more
something
meat,
else and he chose to put
more
a
charcuterie
cookie
items.
instead of something savory that could actually fit on the
Maybe some
board with
fucking
that.
capers, you
And
asshole, to eat with that fucking
yeah,
lox. Jesus.
capers, right? And but I think though, obviously the worst thing about this is how he eats the
So,
caviar.
have you ever done a caviar bump?
No,
I
I
have
have
never in
not.
my life had or witnessed somebody do a caviar bump with creme fraiche. So what that so I don't know,
Wow.
maybe it's just me, maybe it's the crowd that I hang with, like I don't know, but that reads to me as somebody who like is yeah, I can totally handle hard liquor and then has to take a giant gulp of Coke before and if they literally are like like
Yep.
that creme
Yep.
fraiche had to be there because there's no way that Bennett would have been able to stomach nothing but caviar.
This fucking
I know. I know. I know. It's disgusting.
that face.
It's fucking disgusting.
He's stressful. And yeah, because everybody I know who ever has caviar puts like you put like literally like smaller than a dime's drop of caviar on like whatever you're eating it with. So this amount of caviar, and I also feel like he closed his eyes and did the whole make out with the hand thing so that he could mask his like of the like of getting that
He's
caviar
the guy
down.
that like eats oysters with his friends because he thinks that it makes him look fancy, but he like fucking hates it. He
Oysters.
like wants to throw up.
I feel like the fact that this
Because you know
man
that capicola has been
is
sitting in his
trying
fridge.
so hard. He's trying so hard to be like rich, to show himself as
I'm trying to
wealthy.
can't tell. As we've discussed on this podcast before, we know that Bennett is like very good's not as advertised. He's that type of guy where Bennett is the embodiment of money talks but wealth whispers. So like he wants you to think that he's got money so bad, but
Mhm.
if he had money like how Kit has money, he wouldn't need to be like trying to make you
Oh,
think he's got money
Kit,
because you would just know that he has money.
Kit,
You know what I mean?
Kit is my favorite type of rich.
Actually
She is my
rich.
favorite type of rich person. She is literally all of my clients are like her, where she just like they just talk like casually, and when they don't speak on like
Because
when she
being
says shit
rich
like the
isn't a
Bentley,
novelty to
like that
them. It
thing is
just
just
like
so
is their
casual.
life.
But my favorite, her Instagram is literally the classic rich like she just like sets up these very fancy little like picnic spreads in her own backyard, just lies around on them.
Yep.
Like she doesn't give a fuck, A, and about like doing anything, but also B, like yeah, she just truly lives the relaxed, lavish life and doesn't have to talk about it. Wow. Yeah, and I like honestly, as annoying as Kid is, I really fucks with her as far as like her existence. She's not as annoying as she like came off on the
Well,
show.
for me it was
Wow, I can't believe Cancer Stellium asked Bennett.
caviar. Okay.
And this
So
like wheel of what is it, like
that's Emily
camembert?
Brie. That's what I mean. Like this is shit that Bennett has in his fridge, and it is like the most basic of all the items. and he compiled them all so that he could
No,
think that
oh,
he
no, see, meanwhile, I think that all of this was something that I think he bought all this. I genuinely do, and I think that he's bad about it. I
Okay.
think he was trying to think of, because think about it. I think he was trying to think of the fanciest stuff, and he was like, "Ooh, I could get. Oh, what about macaroons? Because no one has that dark, those dark
The
colored
Concord
grapes. No one
grapes,
just has those.
those are not
Right. You only
watching.
have like green grape or red grape. Like this is a fucking Concord ass grape. These
So,
things were
pro tip.
meticulously purchased. And and he just has poor
All right, I
collect
found the
like poor
caviar.
like
It is
again,
expensive caviar.
replace the shrimp with it's so close. It's
But
just so
so yeah,
close.
so
But it's not. Also just eat the caviar. Just eat the fucking
um
caviar. Also, by the way, too, his caption about this is literally he's like, "Oh, Matt, I want to commend you for your class and poise this season, but
did you
someone's
not
got
hear
to
me
show
say
you how
that?
to make it." It's like, dude, wait,
Yeah,
really?
that's what
Earlier?
I said to you. I was like, and the kicker is that his caption is that he calls this like a proper charcuterie board, and he's like trying to teach Matt how to make a proper.
Oh, no, 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 no. Yes. Oh, no, no, no. I heard you when you say that part, but what I'm saying is he posts this. So he probably had this
Oh,
idea
yeah, I
to like
understand.
one up one up the charcuterie board, and he still chose to post this after Matt's deal with Rachel, like all of the controversy, and he's still trying to be like, "Oh, I'm just gonna be funny on Instagram, and I'm gonna poke fun of the charcuterie board." Like that joke is gone. Like
So
his Matt's not posting these charcuterie boards on his TikTok. It's not funny anymore. Like it's a done joke, and also now posting it now makes it seem so weird that you're trying to one up him when he's dealing with literal fucking
no, he wants to be
racism.
relevant so badly that it's killer. But
It
so
he
more
really
pro
does.
tips.
Yeah, no, but and also like you said, not a
No,
proper
no,
charcuterie
not
board.
at all. And so it's one of those things where like, so if you want to do caviar and creme fraiche, like, and you want to also put lox, you can do like a seafood style spread. It's not called a charcuterie board, first of all, but you can do a
Yes.
seafood style spread. And then like capers would have made sense. Mignonette would have made sense. You could have done some like brioche toast instead of those water crackers. Like, and it's like you said about the grapes.
Yeah, he bought the caviar because again, like you said, money
He
talks.
thinks it's
Like
rich
he
shit.
bought the caviar because like, oh yeah, caviar is expensive. People know caviar is expensive. But again, true caviar, it's like, no, you eat it because like you eat it a proper way because it's expensive. Just like you eat oyster, like there's certain ways
Yep.
to eat things. And I
It's like
know
we
that
talked
food
about
is
that
food and you
ribeye.
can put food in your body however you want, but
It's like that picture that you sent
have a
me.
little class,
That
Bennett.
picture you sent me of the person that had like the raw ribeye in the pan in the big cast iron with all the raw vegetables, and it's like
Oh,
what you make will be edible, but you are not doing any of that. You're doing all of that food a disservice. Like you are not cooking any of that the way that it should be
hmm
eaten, and like you are not. And that's the thing is like have some more respect. And this is gonna seem like really really dramatic, but this is my stance on food in general. Have some fucking respect for yourself because you don't need to be eating subpar food. If it's meant to be eaten and is better served a certain
truth.
way, eat it the better way. Eat it the way that it's meant to be enjoyed. That way you're not why the fuck are you wasting your time and your money buying like we talked about like someone buying a tomahawk to cook it to shit? Why don't do that. Don't do that.
Right.
Go buy a chuck roast and throw it in your oven. You don't need to spend money on dry aged beef or expensive cuts of beef or caviar if you're not going to eat it properly
Or
because then what the
caviar.
fuck is the point? What is the point? And like we talked about the grapes. And
Yeah.
grapes, most people don't know this, are intended to be a palate cleanser, which is why you don't want something that has a flavor like a Concord grape because then you're going to be tasting the Concord grape. The reason why grapes and shit like that have a place on charcuterie boards is because you pop a fucking green grape in your mouth and the taste of the capicola is gone and now you have a fresh palate for the next
Yep.
thing that you eat because they're all flavorful but different. So this is what irks me about
It's like smelling coffee at perfume
exactly. You
stores.
need to like freshen, clean your shit up so you can so this is what irks me about Bennett having the audacity, same thing as Hannah Ann, like the audacity of these people to say like this is proper, this is proper. Like there's a lot of time and care and
It's
effort that
not.
goes into doing a lot of this shit correctly. And if you don't want to do it correctly, that's fine. That's fine. But
If you want to waste your money on caviar that you're just gonna lick off your hand and not
I
like like
the
something,
amount of
yeah.
we've talked about the fact that I watched a girl get bullied off of fucking TikTok because she set people straight. And it's like people like Bennett, people with a platform, and like I said, it's just food, so like it doesn't really fucking matter in the grand scheme of things. But people with a platform,
But it matters to people like us
you,
who get
I
paid to do
say
it.
that I'm a
Who, you know,
charcutier, and
like
people are
there's
like, "Oh, so you put shit on a cutting board?" And it's like, "Great, that's what you think my job is now because of this, because of shit like this. My job, it now has like
that's
lost credit face
that was
value
literally
because y'all think I'm making like charcuterie boards and not understanding how much physical labor and
yeah,
science and technical and like all this shit and attention and care and detail go
yep.
into making these things that capicola, you knew that he walked into like fucking Murray's in the West Village and he looked that actually, you know what, I bet I know exactly what's on that fucking cutting board. I would bet dollars to donuts that he walked into Murray's in the West fucking Village and bought their truffle Tremont, which is like their truffle tasting cheese that is the same texture and spreadability as brie, but it tastes like fucking truffles and it's
Gotcha.
expensive.
Yeah, because it looks too
I
small
bet
to
that's
be a
exactly what
brie.
it is because he's like, I want the most. Bennett looks like the type of kid who like only eats fucking chicken fingers or only enjoys chicken fingers, but thinks that he needs to be buying all this expensive shit to keep up with his like in his mind wealth management friends. You know what I mean? So he's like
His
what can I get?
image.
Okay, well I definitely don't want to get that aged prosciutto cuz like it smells a little funky, but like that capicola looks real approachable and still also really fancy. So I'll get that. And like that's how I read what Bennett
Yeah.
did is like the fanciest shit that's still like I don't want to call it pussy shit, but you know what I mean. Like amateur hour.
Look, no, you get it. Look,
Amateur
there
hour.
is again, you know, I still think back to when you come over and you're like, yeah, here's
Ugh,
this pig
the
face. And I'm
roulade.
just like,
My
and
porchetta di testa.
it's like, and you can't tell people like that, hey, I'm eating you want the slice of
Yeah,
pig
that's
face?
that's the
You'd be
tea.
like,
It's like Bennett's like proper charcuterie board, and he's got like Concord grapes and macarons and shit. And like I say proper charcuterie board, and I'm bringing over like lamb bacon and pig face. So
it was look, and then when we were and then we're at the point where we're like it's been sitting out and it's starting to get like really glossy, the fat is melting and you're literally like, and I was like, oh man, it's definitely getting a little loose. You're literally like, this is when it's best.
ideally, you would put it on
Because
like
it is, it
warm
melts
bread,
on
and
the
the warm
bread.
bread would
Again,
melt it.
bread.
But when it gets like a little room temp and it starts to like the fat starts to render a little
uh,
bit, and like we put some for the
God,
listeners,
I
don't get
love
grossed out, but like
food.
I take the tongues out, and like when I roll up the face, I put the pig tongue inside. So like if you've never had tongue before and if you don't know you're eating tongue, it's very good. It's like a very flavorful, like it's the texture of like a well done meatball, kinda. Like I don't know how to really explain the texture of tongue, but
Yeah.
like it's really, really good and it adds like a nice like bite, like meaty quality, so it's not just like falling apart. Anyway, Bennett, we're fucking local. If you want to learn how to make a charcuterie board and you want supplies to make a good charcuterie board to like actually impress your friends, like actually impress your foodie friends. Cause think about it. Like you invite a foodie friend over
Yeah.
to your apartment, Bennett, and you serve them that charcuterie board, they're gonna laugh you off your balcony. So DM us. I'll set you up. I'll help you with pairing. And don't make a nice little macaroon tower.
Yeah.
You don't need to put
No.
them in a fucking jar like that. How tacky. They look like bath bombs. Like, what the fuck?
It was yeah, or it looks like he's trying to. It looks like he literally took that off of a
Yeah, it looks
wedding
like
shower,
a
like a
sweet
bridal shower's
16
table, and
centerpiece.
put it on his. Yeah, like oh, I just
Shannon,
need to
that's where
put
he
this
got it
somewhere. Oh,
from.
I should serve it. How do I serve it? Oh, I'll just use a mason jar. Hannah Ann would do that. Bennett, you are better
No,
than
he's
Hannah
not. Don't ever
Ann.
say that.
Hannah Ann literally puts
Can we
half
talk
her
about
shit
the
in mason
cabbage
jars.
really quick?
She has all her little like tiered things.
So, listeners, this isn't
I
necessarily food
why would
related,
you
but it's kind
why
of food
okay.
related because she used food.
Yeah, no, because Hannah Ann
Flour.
likes to do she likes to do
Yes.
flower arrangements. And I say flower arrangements so generously
It
because
is an arrangement. It's an
literally,
arrangement of flowers. She places
it is
flowers.
flowers in a
She
vase that
does
she put
arrange
in
them.
there, but yes, but she doesn't exactly like, you know how you get a true flower arrangement and there's like 7 different types of flowers. They're like intricately in there. There's
Oh,
like
you mean people
floor, there's
think
like
about like
a green, there's like
contrast and
extra
color
leaves.
palettes and
Oh,
weight
wow, it's
and perspective?
artistic and not just a jar. This bitch carves a hole out of a cabbage and puts a jar in it water, and just tulips, like nothing, just pink tulips, and it looks like pink tulips sitting in a
Okay.
green
Do you know
bowl
what it looks like to
of
me?
cabbage.
I know what you're saying when it obviously looks like cabbage because it is cabbage. But when you look at it, no, but when you look
It's
at it like
cabbage.
sitting on her counter with the tulips in it, it almost doesn't even look like cabbage. It looks like I'll superimpose. I'll do like the picture in picture, but like it looks like
I know, but look at
Shannon.
this.
Does it not look like what we're talking about? Your fucking cauliflower. Does it not look like a stalk of like cauliflower or broccoli after you've chopped all the florets off? Like an extra thick, like chody looking broccoli stalk.
Yes, yes, yes. It's not even
It is the
cute. Like,
craziest thing that
you know
she
what?
thinks that
You
that's
know
like
what would be cute?
adorable.
Okay. All right, Hannah Ann. All right, Hannah Ann. I'm gonna indulge you for a minute. You know what would be cute? Frise.
Castle
You,
Franco.
you cut the center out of some frise, right? You put that in the
Do you
center, and
think
the
Hannah
frise
Ann knows
is
what
like
Castle Franco
pretty
is?
and like sprinkly.
Hannah Ann,
No,
if you're listening to this right now,
I don't
Google
think she's ever
Castle
eaten.
Franco. I'll put it in the show notes if you want, if you don't know how to spell it, but it's basically in the radicchio family and it's much prettier than cabbage. Much prettier. So you
Yeah.
can do the same type of deal, but don't use fucking cabbage.
God. And every time she holds the knife, this video also stressed me out because I was watching her and I'm thinking about other people mimicking her. People will literally cut their hands off. Like, she is this close, so fucking half an inch away from just stabbing her own
So
fucking hand.
this I have conflicted
Also,
feelings
if you're
about.
gonna cut a hole out of something, put the thing on the side and stab the knife away from your body, and like this where you're carving it. So the cabbage is on the side and you're carving the hole in, so if you accidentally stab, you're stabbing forward through the cabbage and not into your hand or to the table.
I'm not gonna
Like,
lie, I've actually
anyway, also she says in the instructions to use a paring knife, and she's using in the video
I
a chef's
wonder
knife.
why that is.
Again,
So the
what are we
thing is
doing?
like I would use a chef's knife. I would use a chef's knife, but
Oh yeah,
listeners,
I would too.
I also
Because it's big,
not even
big
that, but
job for a big knife.
I
That's what my
also
chefs would
like
say.
work with different knives than typical chefs work with on a daily basis, like very comfortably. Like I'll fucking twirl that shit all the time. Am I going to post a video of me doing that in an instructional video? No, I'm not going to post a video for home cooks where I take a boning knife and I'm like fucking flipping a boning knife between my fingers, like throwing it in the air and juggling with it. Because even though I am, while it may be impressive to look at, I do not want anybody mimicking my knife work because that is not what I would recommend anyone do. Because you will hurt yourself if you haven't been
Yeah.
doing it for years.
Also, I feel bad for Hannah Ann's grandma because so many of
Grandma Carol.
Hannah Ann's things are like, she's like, my grandma does this, so I want to do it. And also, I think she's playing the grandma card because that's how home chefs get in, is where they're like, I am doing recipes from my grandma or my mom or my great aunt or whatever. And yeah, great. I'm sure your grandma was a great cook, but I'm sorry, but your grandma had a dumb idea to put a vase in cabbage. And sure, that's probably, honestly, her grandma probably did that shit in the 50s when the 50s was chaotic during, as far as like
Like homemaking.
decorations and all of the weird foods and shapes of stuff. But yeah, wow. Yeah, man, what a
There's
time. This is a wild
Shannon, there's a
ride, and
book
I think
that
that
Amy Sedaris has written. Do you
if
know Amy
bachelor people,
Sedaris? She wrote a book. It's called Simpler
yep,
Times: Crafts for Poor People. And that's the type of shit that I think that you would find in that book is like how to make a festive floral arrangement. Like it seems like it's something that would be a joke. Like it seems like satire, like a vase and a cabbage.
yeah. Hannah Ann is super Taurusy, and she definitely looks like if she,
There was a
nah, I won't say it, but she tries very hard to stay fit, and I could see
I've
probably
got yeah.
why.
I
She is super,
well, that's like all her things. She tries to swear they're like so clean and stuff, which is all so bad. Like from not even just like a chef perspective, but like someone who has. I've personally worked very hard to maintain a good relationship with food, and like I'm studying to be a personal trainer, and like I'm trying to get into like the nutrition space and stuff like that. Some of the recipes
yeah.
that she does are the instruction and their inception are coming from a harmful place. Like they're coming from an unhealthy place.
And that's the thing too, is if you're gonna, because if you're gonna take something and sub, like, okay, so you don't want flour, but you're gonna put almond flour. Okay, well, almonds have fat in them, so it's like you are
Yeah.
adding these different elements, and where that's not in flour. Like flour is just wheat. It's just gluten. Like it's not, unless you are
Yeah.
celiacs, it's not gonna, like, it's not making you fat. Like it's, and it's also portions.
Well, it's like
Like,
how we
guys,
said earlier, like
God, people,
understand
like
what you're eating, like know about what you're eating. Like it's
understand
and
how to
not
eat your
everything can
food.
be cooked the same way, not
Don't
everything can
just,
be dealt with the
yeah.
same way. Like a lot of things are very different. Like my expertise, so the place that I know the best is like meat. Like all all beef does not, it may all be beef, but that does not mean that you should cook it all the same way or you should season it all the same way or the texture will be the same. Like it's all very, very
Yep.
different. And it's not necessarily specific, but specific. There was, what was I just going to say to you? Oh, yeah, there was this one video that I almost pulled from Hannah G, actually, where it was like a very mild annoyance where Hannah
Oh,
G was like,
wow.
today we're doing open faced burgers with no bun, which led me to be like,
So a
yeah.
burger
I was
patty
like,
with toppings on
technically,
it?
this is me like splitting hairs, but like,
People eat
but it's
such
also
weird
like,
things when they're trying
why
to
are
be
you
healthy,
calling
and
it
they
open?
don't
It's
have to.
not, like I said, I know I'm splitting hairs, but like it's not open faced if there's no bun. So just call it bunless. Like, why did you feel the
Like,
need to
it's
tack on the open face?
just, or a patty, like a
It's
beef
basically
patty
fucking
with
meatloaf. It's a
fucking, with,
little baby
again, beef
meatloaf.
patty with toppings.
It's a mini
Just
loaf.
tiny meatloaf.
A smashed
God,
meatball.
I really do feel bad. I feel this makes me wonder. Like, because I consider very often, and I probably will end up moving to LA, and I literally think about it where I'm like, when I move myself private chef, all these bitches are gonna be like, I want to eat nothing, and I'm gonna be like, cool, let me help you eat nothing, but with like
That's why, yeah,
substance,
that's
like
the whole
eat
thing
food.
about.
Like, it's actually is easy to eat healthy if you want to, but and cut a lot of things out and still make good food. Oh my god, I do it all the time, all day long in my fucking job. So, oh wow, people. Anyway, if you're ever in need of trying to substitute vegan stuff and trying to get healthy and be vegetarian and eat all these foods, do it. Great, on it. I will help you out. DM. I do it all the time, but please stop just replacing things one for one, because that's what you think. Like, oh, almond flour is the same. No, it's not. It's honestly, I'm gonna say this: if you're gonna try to do any kind of flour alternative, oat flour is my favorite.
I like doing almond flour one for one, but it's like as you're saying, like understand that there will be, yeah, things will be
It's also a
different.
different texture. The
Like you
almond
can
flour
sit
is
there and
so
like you could
fine.
in theory sub things one for one. Like for the most part, a lot of problem, it's not going to give you a problem with the recipe, but like it's going to change the product for sure.
It's, yeah,
It'll
exactly. Like the
work.
rest, you will still be able to
Right,
make it, but
exactly.
it will not come
Exactly.
out the same. Right. Uh, wow. Well, what a
Anyway,
time.
everyone stop
Anyway,
fucking following bachelor people for your
food.
food content unless you are yeah, follow us.
Follow
Well, not
chefs.
me cuz I don't have anything on my Instagram, but
Follow us. I post on my. If you really, I post on my private, or not my private, but my personal Instagram account, all my food stuff. But, uh, wow, yeah. Anyway, next week we're gonna talk
oh
about
yeah.
the Bachelorette's chart, the show, just like we did with the Bachelor's chart. And we're probably gonna still talk about a few of the things we talked about last time with like Rachel Lindsay and Claire, but I'll think of other people like Caitlin Bristow, who was like had sex on her season. Like, I
Like
try to think
moments
of
in bachelorette
all these
history, yeah.
things, other Bachelorette nonsense, right? Because so much of the like iconic stuff happens on The Bachelor, but Rachel Lindsay again is the iconic moment for The Bachelorette, and also this year the
Hmm.
announcement of two Bachelorettes is kind of a random addition. So, oh yeah, and I forgot Caitlin Bristow. There were two on her season too, but it was just like for the first
That's
episode, it was like, who do you want to be your
so
Bachelorette?
fucking
Even though I think they probably
offensive.
just had it as Caitlin the whole time. Like, I literally so rude. I can't even stand it. Rude to both women
Imagine putting
actively.
your
Like,
whole life on hold just for a room of men to tell you, nah, we're good.
no,
Fuck off,
we like that
ABC, for
other girl
putting anyone
better.
in that situation.
God,
It's so
no,
fucked.
thank you.
So fucked. Anyway.
Truly. But Anyway, so yeah. And if anybody has any requests for moments in Bachelorette history, please send them my way. Hell yeah. All right, great. So yeah, on the stories, do the roses
Yeah.
align. Follow us there. And oh my gosh, and this week I dropped my Taylor
Yes.
Swift
Shannon has a new
podcast.
podcast coming.
So if you're interested, it drops on Thursday. I'm hype. I'm so hype.
Nice. Very,
Been
very
listening to
nice.
Fearless, getting myself hype because Taylor, she's making those
Yeah.
re-records. Comes out on Friday. Wow, crazy. But anyway, follow us, Astrology Chef Jessica Tula. We are out here.
It's
All
been a
right, well,
pleasure.
everybody, thanks for listening,
See you
and
next
see
week.
you next week.
Bye.